Have I made a Batman review yet? Like the Batman review? I can't really remember off the top of my head, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So if there's already one up, then oh well, I'm going to go ahead and do it again, because I just felt like talking about this movie again. Because I watched the Penguin series, so I rewatched the Batman first, so to see if there's any events from the Batman that were carried over into the Penguin, and unfortunately there was very little carried over except for the catastrophic floods. That was really the only thing from the movie that was carried over into the TV show. So we're going to talk about the Penguin after we do the Batman video, because I just felt like talking about the Batman. The Batman is probably my favorite live-action version of Batman. This is probably my favorite live-action Batman story. This is probably my favorite live-action Batman aesthetic. This is probably my favorite Batman actor, too. This is a very excellent year one look at a Batman, maybe even it's probably year two, actually, because he's been Batman for a little while, but he's still pretty green. And that's kind of like how Batman The Long Halloween was. And this and Batman The Long Halloween share many aesthetics, and I almost wish that the Riddler wasn't the villain in this movie, that it might have been maybe Calendar Man or something. Like, it's something so completely off the rails, a weirdo type of villain, a type of obscure type of villain that you never really would get a movie about. Yeah, give me a movie about Calendar Man or Saz Tam or so. Is Victor Saz? No, Saz Tam is from Forgotten Realms. Victor Saz. Is it Victor Saz? It's Saz. Just whatever. Zaz is a very interesting villain, but he's not somebody for Batman late in his game to be going up against. Batman, after he's been Batman for a few years, will be having big supervillain type of characters to go up against, like the Joker and Bane and the rest. But early Batman, the characters like Calendar Man and Saz, those guys would be very fun to go up against. And we don't really get many opportunities to go up against those types of characters. Nobody knows about those characters all that well, and the reason why nobody knows is because we don't tell stories about them. If we don't tell stories about them, then people won't know them. So you can continue to use that excuse that nobody knows who these characters are, and so we never use them, and then we'll just keep continuing to rehash old idea after old idea, bring in the Joker back for the upteenth time, because nobody knows these other villains that we've introduced in the comics or the TV series, and because nobody knows them, and we refuse to take risks and introduce people to characters that nobody's known, so that after they've watched the movie, they'll have been introduced to the characters so that we can make more movies with those guys. And you get where I'm going with this, but it's not Calendar Man, unfortunately. It's the Riddler. I'm not the biggest fan of this Riddler. I really am not. I'm not at all. The Riddler from the, I think it's Batman Forever. I think it's the Schumacher, the first one, Batman Forever. I think that's the name of it. The Riddler from that is okay. Before he puts on the wacky outfit, that is. Before he puts on the wacky outfit, he was fine. Probably my favorite Riddler is the Arkham video games version of him. The Arkham Riddler from that is a very good one, because that guy shows a competency and a very high intellect, a character that continues to evade your every move, who outthinks you, and Batman has to outwit this incredible mastermind who keeps on throwing all sorts of Riddler trophies all throughout the city just for you to play his game. You going to try to capture this guy is you playing his game. He wants you to try to capture him. He wants you to try to solve his riddles. He wants to play his wits against you. And that's the type of character that I really, really enjoyed. And there is some semblance of that type of Riddler in this story. There really is. And especially the mystery segments of Batman trying to solve the riddles and the mysteries of the Riddler. The Riddler wants Batman to figure these things out. He wants to have this cat and mouse game. He wants Batman to figure out the Riddler's thing, but he hopes that Batman would join him after he's figured out and played the Riddler's game. And the whole reveal of the actor, the character, there's nothing wrong with the actor, and might just be a creative decision on their part to make this character version of the Riddler be like this version. It's just not my favorite version of the Riddler. It's not that I have anything against this actor or the way this character was written once we finally unmask the Riddler, so as to say, and get to see the actual person. I just prefer the other kind of Riddler, the one who feels far more sophisticated, doesn't feel like some sort of nerdy, geeky guy who just looks like some... Nah. I'd prefer a geeky-looking dude, but also speaks incredibly dapper, with an incredibly high ego, with an incredibly high self-esteem. He speaks with this incredible pomposity about him. He has this aura about him. And the actor, and the way he was written, the way he was acting in this, doesn't feel like he had that aura. He didn't have that air about him. He actually had some self-confidence problems, too. And that was a creative decision, for sure. It was a creative decision, but it wasn't the type of thing that I was the biggest fan of. The decision for Catwoman to be like this, I have no problems with it, really. I like the story, I just wish we expanded it a little bit more. The Catwoman angle feels like a little bit of a distraction, but there's enough time dedicated to the character to pay off the fact that she is one of the daughters, or illegitimate daughters, of Carmine Falcone. I liked that angle. I liked the angle with Falcone. I like all of that stuff. And that was a pretty good story, but you add the Riddler stuff in here as well, and it distracts from the Falcone sections of this. I feel like Falcone and the Penguin and all of that stuff could have been its own movie. Falcone, Catwoman, the Penguin, and all of that could have been its own movie. But then they try to add the Riddler in near the second half of the movie with the big stadium thing with all the crazy guys and the masks and the flood and all of that crap. It feels like a sort of weird Shyama-lama-lama ding-dong twist that didn't really get needed. You had two good movie stories in here, one with the mob with Catwoman, and one with the Riddler and Batman solving a riddle. It feels like you could have told two separate stories here. You're combining two of them, and you're taking away some substance of both of them that I feel like would have been better served to let them both be their own things. Either way, I liked it. I liked both stories that they were telling. I just wish both of them had more and had their own room to breathe so that there were two movies to show off these two big things. But it is what it is. You could have... there's so many things you could have done here, but you could have been a whole lot worse. This thing could have been a whole lot worse. The way that it was done, the way that it was told, Batman doesn't have all of his crazy, super awesome gadgets yet, and his Batcave is very low-tech right now because he's just starting out. That was a big kind of a risk, so as to say. He didn't immediately jump out the gate like most of these Batman movies with so much tech and competency. This guy makes some mistakes. He's fighting with his identity, trying to juggle the Bruce Wayne and the Batman, and he realizes Bruce Wayne can still do some genuine good for this city, so that he needs to go out as Bruce Wayne as well. He can't just live as a recluse. The city needs Bruce Wayne, the character, to help make the city good in the way that only Bruce Wayne could, and that Batman could still do his Batman thing at night to try to make the city survive in the Batman way that only the Batman can. I liked that they juggled that idea a little bit, but they could have done a little bit more there. They could have done some expanding introspective look. It's only hinted at. Like, there's only a little bit of a hint at this idea when they're attending some funeral and Bruce Wayne finally comes out and shows a public face, and she talks to the mayoral candidate lady, and she says that you could do some real good, Bruce. You could come out, do some stuff, and it's just hinting at this identity crisis storyline segment that I thought you could have done a whole lot more with that too. But yeah, this movie could have been a whole lot worse. But it was a very, very refreshing film. You didn't need to make another movie that was like the Nolan movies. You didn't need to do that. You didn't need to make it too realistic. You didn't need to make a movie that was too campy like the Schumacher movies. And honestly, as much as I love the Tim Burton Batman movies, you didn't even make one that looked like that one either. You made this movie your own vision. You made this movie your own Batman. And I respect the creative decisions here, even if I disagree with some of the character choices, like the Riddler. But it is what it is. It's a fantastic story, though. You could watch this and get roped in. You could watch it a second time, a third time. The mafia stuff, the intrigue with all of the underworld, underbellies, and all of that stuff is very expertly written. And I thought having Batman and Bruce Wayne as well juggle this underbelly of Gotham that's been controlling Gotham with the rot and decay for decades was a very nice touch. It's something that doesn't really get explored in most of the live-action Batman stuff. It did in the Gotham TV series, I think. I just need to get around to watching that. But outside of Gotham, the TV series, with the movies, just strictly movies, live-action movies, we don't really explore the mafia stuff too much. And I liked that. I liked it. This movie's pretty good.